Are you still shy?
Yes, yeah. I'm still shy, but I also do not really send your daddy like that anymore.
How do you feel like being here today?
I feel like I'm about to be exposed to the world.
Do you have any limiting beliefs?
One of my limiting beliefs is that I'm not fit for life.
Where do you think you could have picked that from?
Okay. This is become very personal. So I remember that my folks would always tell me that I'm very gullible, and so having heard that over and over again just made me believe that I'm not fit to navigate life as a person.
How can businesses, creators, and people make use of their belief to shape their reality?
The reason why you believe your name is your name is because you've heard it being told you over and over and over again. You're going to use your beliefs, the belief system, to create your expected reality for your business. It means you have to have.
Hello everyone, my name is Alabi Abibolamide, and here with me today is Miss Ejura. She's someone that I admire so much. She's very distinct in her dress, in the way she speaks, and trust me, she's very, very, very beautiful. Hello, how do you feel like being here today?
I feel like I'm about to be exposed to the world.
Why do you feel like that?
Because usually I'm the one asking the question, because I'm not usually on the other end. Yeah.
Actually, I'm about to ask that question. Like, you being here now, what do you think your guests feel like if they are the one in your seat?
Usually on my own show, I always wonder how my guests are always so excited and just willing to talk. I'm like, how can you just want to talk? It's so weird. So it was never a problem to try to manage the mood. They always appear to be fine to me. And before we start, we always like have a heart-to-heart, maybe like a day before, so they get comfortable with me. And yeah. But I always hope not to be in their shoes, but here I am. Yeah. So.
Oh, wow, that's nice. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, basically, the reason why we are here and the reason why we are using outside today is because I believe that your environment affects your thoughts, and I use this wide open space because I want us to be expressive, like very, very expressive.
My name is Ejura.
What do you do?
I do. Recently, I came to the conclusion that I am a visual communicator. So I think that's what I do. I tell stories through visual elements like videos, like audio, pictures, through text as well. So I try to make a visually appealing conversation using those elements. So yeah, I am a visual communicator.
Okay, that's nice. Thank God that we are in OAU.
Yes.
So, because OAU give a sort of aesthetically pleasing environment.
Yeah.
And so I know that you graduated from this university, and you are from the dramatic department.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, you are.
So, and you're saying like you just made up your mind to be a visual designer and like tell stories through videos and pictures.
Yeah.
One of the first questions I'll be asking is how did your background in dramatic art shape the way you tell story?
Honestly, I wouldn't really say it did much. I apologize, Oyu, because I wasn't really active in school. Like I didn't participate much in the activities, like in the plays and the music, because I was really shy. But one thing that it helped me, one way it helped me is it pushed me out. It made me more expressive. Now, funny thing is that I didn't look like I didn't look this extra in school. It was after. So I think drama did the work of putting this me together, yeah? And it also made me value the arts more because I saw people putting hours and hours of hard work into their craft, like rehearsals upon rehearsals. So you come on stage, you see people just, you come to a show, you see people just dance, and you think it's just they're having fun. No, they've put in hours and hours of work into ensuring that they get the choreography right, into getting the songs right. It's a lot of work. So it made me appreciate artists more and made me just adore
That's
adore the
nice.
arts. Yeah, the most important thing I would say it did for me was it helped me express myself more. Even though it was not an immediate effect, it was compounding. And yeah.
Okay, that's nice. You made mention that being dramatic at departmental is like it makes you more expressive. But you mentioned that while you're in school, you're probably like of the school girl, like probably not participating, you are shy.
Yes, yeah.
So, but now are you still shy?
Yes, I am. Like I said, it was a lot of things that made me this way. But I believe strongly that school, the theater was a part of it. Yeah, I'm still shy, but I also do not really send your daddy like that anymore. So yeah, so I'm well on my way to becoming a lot more expressive, and I can't wait for that me. But I think I've come a long way, and I have not just school to thank for that, because like I said, I wasn't even expressive in school. It was after. So I would attribute all of this to church mostly. Yeah, they forced me out.
When I'm doing my research as well, I noticed that you're into many skills: graphic design, content creation, film commentaries. Like it was a lot. I'm like, is this Ejura that I knew? Like, wow, she's it's this like wow. So about the film commentaries especially,
Yeah.
I watched like four major ones that stood out to me. There's one that you made a commentary about Rise of the Guardians. So there you talk about belief shaping reality. So my question for that is that the concept of belief shaping reality is present in films you have analyzed like The Rise of the Guardians. If belief is that powerful, and how can businesses, creators, and people make use of their belief to shape their reality?
The reality. I don't know. It's pretty basic, I would say.
Okay.
I'm Christian.
Yeah.
And I strongly also believe that the way what we say, what we think is very integral to how the environment interacts with us and how we interact with the environment. Because I believe that the environment is alive, right? So there's one example that my pastor used to give.
Okay.
Yeah, in explaining faith. So and in explaining what belief is. So he said that when you were a kid, when you were just a little boy or little girl, whatever you are, he said the reason why you believe your name is your name is because you've heard it being told you over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? So you hear your parents call you Abib or Sam. Hear your friends call you Sam. You hear your siblings, everyone, your church member, your cousins call you that name. And so somehow that repetition enforces that name in your head that, oh, it's my name.
Yeah.
And so that is how belief is formed. It's like a cycle. So the words come repeatedly, and then they form like a belief system in your mind, and somehow that kind of like shapes the reality. In that when you are called, you respond.
Yeah,
I think that's how it works. It's like an interplay between your words and your thoughts, your words and your thoughts. So I believe that two major ingredients that make up your belief system are words and your thoughts, like what you think, what you say. So yeah, that means that if you're going to take that into your business, if you're going to use that, if you're going to use your beliefs, the belief system to create your expected reality for your business, it means you have to have something you're saying repeatedly, so much so that it becomes concrete in your mind, in your thoughts, right? Because faith, belief happens in your mind, in your heart. So, and again, that comes by repeated saying. So yeah, for us, what we believe as Christians, what I believe as a Christian is God's word. So I use that as my manual for living. It's what I believe. It's what I take, and it's what I run with. Another thing that I run with again is what my pastor says, what my prophet says. So it's like simple. So you have to have something you believe in. You have to have something that. Funny thing is that sometimes like believing something does not sometimes come naturally. Like I said, with that example, the reason why you believe it's your name is because it's been said over and over and over again, and then you are in an environment that makes that easy because it's family, right? So it's something that they're saying consistently to you, right? So yeah, if you're going to take that to your business, have a word, have something that you say to yourself or say about your business, so much so that it forms it comes concrete in your head. This is what I believe about my business. And the point where it hits is when there is no disconnect between those words and yourself. Like it's just your reality, just what you really know, right? Yeah. So I think that's when it changes for you. Okay. Yeah, it's conviction. Like this word is me. I am this word. My business is this word or this phrase or yeah, and this phrase is my business. Right. So I think that's how it works. And again, one of the ways to establish conviction is repetition. Repetition. Yes. I think that's how you can, I don't know, manifest your best realities where your business is concerned. Yeah.
That's nice. Oh, thanks so much. Because you saying that give me a lot of insight into how much words mean and repeating those words consistently how it can shape our reality. And if I'm going to be asking next question, it will be: do you have any limiting beliefs?
Oh, I have many. I have a ton. I can list them for you. They're horrible.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I guess so. One of my limiting beliefs is that I'm not fit for life. Yes, and that was very very serious. But somehow I just have this. I don't use the word belief, but it kind of is because I have internalized I have internalized experiences that reinforce that statement that I'm not fit for life. Okay. Right. And it's been a little work trying to wash that out of my system. Right. So yeah, my limiting belief is that I'm not fit for life. Yeah.
That's quite a lot and quite serious.
Yeah.
Let me pick some song where you assume, okay, I'm not fit for life. Where do you think you could have picked that from?
I would say again, I'm trying to re-engineer my mind because I'm a very big believer in re-engineering things, re-engineering society, re-engineering yourself, because that's how life works. You are made up of lots of things. So if you change those elements that you're made up of, you can be a different person. So just to put it out there that I know that I can change and I'm working on that. Yeah. So I would say that the ingredients that made up that is okay. This is becoming very personal. Oh, okay. So I would say is my background, like growing up. So I remember that my folks would always tell me that I'm very gullible. And so having heard that over and over again just made me believe that I'm not fit to navigate life as a person, that whatever move I made, that it was going to be a mistake or I was going to get cheated a lot. So I think that was one of the reasons why I was very maybe withdrawn or shy, because I don't want to make any mistakes. I don't want to get cheated. And but the thing is, they were not wrong, right? I am a very gullible person, where I was. I think the other thing that made me believe that I wasn't fit for life is my personality, sort of. So I'm growing up, I wasn't very assertive. I was very timid, very shy. And then coming to university and leaving university, going for service, I learned that if you are going to succeed in life, you have to be a certain way. You have to be a risk taker. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to be very assertive. And somehow I just felt that mixture was not me. So, oh no, I'm not made for this life. Before I can make any assertive or bold move, I have to go over it over and over and over again. And after I even make that move, I'm like, I feel like I'm about to like crumble because like I just did this. I just did that. So it's nerve wracking sometimes when I do things that are outside my comfort zone, and so that's why. So having to feel that having that reaction every single time I make a big move, and I feel like this is probably for the same with everyone. I don't know, I guess, but yeah. So there's that too. Yeah, that and just some other quirks here and there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks for mentioning that part of you like folks assuming that you are gullible and everything and probably not being assertive. So the thing is that about limiting beliefs, I watched, as you probably know, I watch a lot of courses. So there's a course I'm on now is a business bootcamp by Chris Dunn.
I love him.
I saw a very, very nice guy. So in that business course, it talk about limiting beliefs. And one way, like, it tried to overcome its limiting beliefs is to look at how it picked the limiting beliefs. For example, now, he has a limiting belief about money. Like, and a sample of that is like, okay, he has to be educated, he has to go to school before he can make much money. And which is not so. Then, so he told us how he conquered that limiting beliefs. So he sort of looked into how he pick it. Then he look at, okay, did I pick from my parents? Did I pick it from my friends? And in goes to that, he picks from his parents because his parents sort of believe that education is very important. And funny enough, I overcome it to his straight parents because it put them in a way that do they actually have the right to tell him that without education he won't make money.
Yeah.
And then he get the answer because his parents, they are not educated and they are doing well.
Yeah.
Which means that belief and implicants from like they are sort of antagonizing themselves.
Yeah.
So what that would bring me to ask you the next question is, do you think you pick from your folks or from anybody else, are they in the right position to tell you that you're not fit for life?
They never expressly said it like that.
Okay.
I just took what they said and other things, not just that, and made it into that phrase. Yeah. Or everything they said, and the other person that I had made me feel that way. So, honestly, I would say yes, they are in the right position to tell me that I am gullible.
Why do you think so?
Because they're my parents, I guess.
Are you sure so that?
Well, I would say no. I don't think they were wrong. This is looking like the chicken or egg paradox. Like, did I turn out to be gullible because they kept telling me that, or was I gullible first, and then they now told me? Do you get? So I can't say honestly, but whatever it is, I'm choosing to believe that they saw something in me that they felt wasn't a good character to have here on earth, else they will kill you. So maybe their method of telling me, of trying to keep me safe, was wrong. But I think they had every right to tell me. Maybe they just didn't do it well. So I also have the job to, as an adult, to, like I said, re-engineer myself and sit back, deconstruct all of these things, what they said, and, make sense of it. And which I just did. Like I said, I don't think it's their fault. I just think it's maybe just how they said it. I think they were right. And it's my duty as an adult to fix my life. And yeah.
That's nice. So as you know, I know that you have background in design principles. So and probably one thing I've learned from you while you asked me to design like for church or any sort of design is that I've noticed that you like minimalistic designs. Like
I do.
design should be functional. You should communicate what's meant to communicate. Most times it's not like it should be aesthetically pleasing, but once our design can communicate and your audience knows what you're trying to communicate to them, I think like most time it sort of works for you. So it brings me to the next question. What is the widely accepted principle in branding or design that you believe is deeply flawed or misleading?
I think every design principle is proper in its own context. But what I would say is the best designers are those people who actually break the rules. And I think it's because they've learned the rules so much. They know how to, they know how to manipulate it and just find a way around it. So yeah, that's that. And I think the second thing, it's not a flaw, but it's one thing I think people should be paying more attention to is the psychology of design. So the world is run by people. Like people run the world, and design is meant to communicate to people, for people. I think if designers paid more attention to how people think, how their clients think, how their target audience think, and how they feel, maybe they will make better designs. So I'm very much interested in whatever I do. I'm more interested in people than the actual art itself, because the other end is people, right? Yeah, I think people are so important in whatever we do. Like the avatar that we're designing for the audience is super duper important. So yeah, so psychology. I think designers should be psychologists or should know a little bit about psychology when it comes to communicating with people. I mean, through designs. Yeah.
So, Drew, how are you so creative?
I'm creative.
I'm actually very serious. You are very, very creative. I would say, like, if I'm being honest, because we're on the podcast and I want this podcast to be a sort of where my guests come to express themselves, and where I can learn and I actually be generous. And if I'm being honest with you at the moment, I would say yeah, actually very creative. Because sometimes I won't say jealous, but I sometimes do wish okay, how do Ejura come up with this concept? Do you get because sometimes when we work together, probably to design, it's always come out well. Because I know how to use my softwares.
Yes.
I'm very good with software because I learn a lot. But when it comes to being creative, I have to sort of look for inspirations and sort of, which I know that is actually part of the process. So that's why I admire you when it comes to creative. So that's why I asked the question, how are you so creative? What are the thought process that comes into you being creative, you coming up with concept and sort of?
Okay, so I'm going to give one example that happened recently. So I have a friend.
Yeah.
She is a designer as well, a UI UX designer. And when I'm with her, we're together, we watch lots of anime. So I remember I picked this up from her actually. At one time we were watching there was one anime, and then she just screamed, and then she paused, and then she said, "Look at that composition." I'm like, "Whoa!" Like she sees. So I think I'm getting very, very, very excited already.
Yeah,
Just thinking about how she reacted to that.
Yeah,
To that opening sequence
Yeah.
in that anime. So, and she was so happy about how they put this element here, that element here. So I think it's also it's just being aware of your environment. So I think one thing about me is that I get very overwhelmed by life in a good way. Like I can admire something for hours and hours. Like the littlest of things, the littlest of interaction in the environment. Like something as simple as maybe not simple, but something as common as childbirth or as a kid walking. I'm just like, how are you even existing? Why are you like? It bothers me. Like, how are you even alive? Or even your presence next to me. Like, how are you even you? You're very intrigued by just these seemingly mundane things. Yeah, and that's just me. And I think everybody should be like that. They should be so aware of their environment, of how things work. We should be so, aware of things. But specifically, I want to use, I want us to use that example of my friend and I, how she was able to draw inspiration from just that open sequence. So there's so many design inspiration from things around us, right? From nature, from films. Films are made. They pump a lot of money into research. Like they hire the best of people to get these things done. And so that when you're watching a movie, you're seeing the mind of some of the greatest artists ever. right? So yeah.
Moving on, I know that you are the creator, editor, author of BIOS,
Yay.
and we said that's such an amazing. So why BIOS?
Why bios? All right. So bios is short for biographies. And like I've said earlier, that I'm someone who is right now trying to re-engineer myself because I know the damage that has been done from way back. And I can say the same for many other people, right? So BIOS is an attempt to help people and parents, kids, educators become more aware of themselves and of other people so they can, be better people, be better friends, be better teachers and family members, right? Because the truth is, one that I learned years ago from my friend, and it's also something that my prophet has emphasized over and over again in teaching us how to be better people, better believers, in teaching us how to influence our environment, is that we're not self-made. So in trying to influence your environment and trying to change your life, he taught us that we are not self-made, and that means that there are certain things. I think you heard me say this before in this conversation, that there are certain ingredients that make up a person. Yes, I kept using that word. Things here because you are not self-made, so we are products of many things, right? And I think many people just gloss over that as if it doesn't matter. They gloss over the kind of friends they make, they gloss over the kind of books they read, gloss over the kind of movies they watch. They don't pay much attention to these things that they consume. And I think these are the things that make up who we are, right? So I'm the kind of person that obsesses over things like that. Like why you are the way you are, why I'm where I am. And and I learned early on that it's because of this thing here that we are the way that we are. And many times we're carrying things that did not belong to us originally. They're probably from our friends and from our family or from an experience that we had. And don't really pay attention to these things. So I want BIOS to be a platform where people can come to unpack themselves and just trace back certain aspects of their lives to its origin, and maybe work out an intervention. Yeah. And also because I really just love listening to people speak about themselves. Again, because I can't just understand how people are the way they are, how people have their own lives. Like, how can you just exist outside of myself? It cripples me sometimes. Yeah. So it's just me exploring that part of me that's curious about human existence and human relations and stuff. So yeah. But also because I'm trying to my little way of trying to help people become more self-aware and just talk, I'm a psychology enthusiast. So many of the shows I see are about how personalities are formed, how friendships are formed, particularly how teens are formed, right? So, okay, this is a show I watch on YouTube, and it's run by this guy called Mark. Now, Mark interviews now he's changed. Before he used to interview the worst of people, people that America spat out. Like, we talk about rapists, serial killers, like people offenders, people who are addicts, and he interviews them, and he just helps people. He just helps people see the humanity in people, and that's what I'm trying to do for my audience and for the people themselves. I want them to see themselves as actual people who have a story. Right. I think sometimes people don't really read themselves so much. Like, I'm just me, but you are a whole lot. You are so many things. You carry the DNA of so many people, like your parents, your grandparents, you're just a whole lot of things, yeah? You are rich. You want people to see that too. Yeah.
But do you think being self-aware helps, and in what sort of way does being self-aware help you?
Yes, I think being self-aware helps. And it helps you be aware. Sorry to use the word again here. About your excesses and how to curb them. So if you're aware that, okay, when I'm in this situation, I always do this. I think it can help you appreciate yourself more, and it can help you curb your excesses. Yeah. Okay. So, but there can also be a downside.
What was downside?
That is when you become very self-obsessed, where you're watching your every move, watching your every word, and to be honest, unnecessary. So a little here, a little there, don't do it too much. Just I don't know.
One last question before we round up is, with all the shows that we've done on bios,
Yeah.
what are the major recurring patterns that you've noticed that stood out to you about Umai?
About humans, your background matters a great deal, like your immediate family. I think it's how much influence our background has on us. That's one. And two, just how strong our genes are. Right? It's God is amazing. He's an amazing creator. Because there's so many patterns that many of my guests discussed that they could trace back to their parents. Many habits that they have now that they can trace to their childhood. So I know I've heard people say that that maybe your strongest influence isn't really your family because you don't really spend as much time with them. You spend time with your friends. You spend I think you spend more time in school than at home. But I really think we shouldn't really downplay the influence of family. It's insane, right? Yeah, most of them it's from the family. They usually have now with friendships, with with romance, everything. It's back the family. Say, yeah, which is why I think I really want parents to sit down and watch my show because it's your fault. Kind of, not really. I know it's not your fault, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, one last question, and then we go with sure.
Yeah.
To the audience that are watching this podcast, what will be like a sort of 2 sentence advice to gain from this podcast?
This podcast?
Yeah,
this
that's what
particular feature. I think you should be interested in people, in learning about people, what they want, what they need, how to I don't want to use the word control, but yeah, control the people. Because people actually run the world. Yeah. And the second thing is that be more aware of your environment, honestly. Like I know you have work and you have kids and you have that pesty friend and you have that annoying boyfriend. But really, take a chill pill and I don't know, get lost in how amazing your favorite cartoon is or your favorite show is or your favorite club is or your favorite tree is. Just really enjoy something. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so much. It is nice having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I enjoyed myself.